Away from us. It seems as though Evia has got a little caterpillar to show you.
We have found a beautiful dice moth caterpillar. Just look at those colors, like almost a dark purple, white, like a pinkish color, and also that orangey color. When I tried to pick it up from the leaf, it looked like it sprayed something. I don't know what that could have been. I don't know if it's one of its defenses to maybe spray some form of liquid, maybe acid of some sort. I don't know. I'll have to look into that, try and figure it out. But yeah, amazing, these colors. It's crazy to think that some of these caterpillars are so beautiful, and then when they go into their moth stage, they become dull and ugly. I think this one becomes like a dull brown color, if I remember correctly. So yeah, beautiful. The other day I had one of these as well, and you see these two big thingies here, they were moving up and down the whole time, trying to figure out where it was. It was on my other stick, so it might have not felt too comfortable on it, and decided to test things out, maybe try and suss out where it is. I'm going to put this guy back down, and then let's carry on a bit, see if we can bump into something else. Toad's tears. You would like to know if that insect is poisonous. I'm not 100% sure. I don't think it is though. But it might have, like I said, with some sort of acid or something to protect itself, to try and deter predators. But I don't think it is one of the poisonous ones. Not that I'm aware of. Alright, let's keep moving. Let's see what else wants to pop up. Thinking back about those, the termite mound we were on a while back, I was on a walk and I bumped into a very angry buffalo bull. So bumped into him, he was maybe 15-20 meters away from us, and luckily there was a big boulder on my right, so I got myself and the guest up onto the boulder. Then shaking his head, trying to scare us, he moved off, and it was before this big drought, so the grass was about this tall in the area I was in, and went on walking, carried on with our walk afterwards, and we bumped into some more buffalo. So luckily a termite mound, next onto the termite mound. As I get onto the termite mound, I look around and I just see buffalo all over. So they made this line as they were resting, and so I just decided, okay, I'm gonna look for termite mounds and just walk termite mound to termite mound until I pass these guys. So luckily, maybe every 100 meters or so we had a termite mound to climb onto, and got and made our way through, because we had the herd on the one side and this angry buffalo on the other side, so we couldn't really go back, try and make a loop around them. We had to go through the middle. Yeah, it was quite an interesting day. made up for some fun. It looks like maybe a larval case or something. I wonder what this is. A case of some sort, but I don't know who it was for. Well, while we try and figure this out, let's go see what James is up to.
That, everybody, is a Cardinal woodpecker, if I'm not mistaken. Is it gone? Oh, it's gone. Oh, we sat with it for a little while. No, it's still there. Behind the tree, says Louise. Can you see it at all? Rion? Turn to the right. Go right. Go right, Rion. Rion, go right. And up a bit. Louise says she saw it fly in. Oh, there it is. Well spotted. Righty, we've got it there. Well done, Rion. Good job. Now, 4 woodpecker species we get here. The bennets, the cardinal, the bearded, and, of course, the golden-tailed. Now, I'm 99% sure that that is a male cardinal woodpecker, and I'll show you why once you've had a good look at him there. Let me just make sure that I'm not telling you a lie. It is indeed. We know because it has got a brown front to the head, brown forehead, you can just see it there, and a red cardinal's cap on the back. Now, of course, all woodpeckers, or just about all the woodpeckers out here, at least the males, have got a red cap. Some of the females do as well. But that one is very small, and he's got a very distinct brownness to the front of his head. And that makes him immediately a cardinal woodpecker. The bennets is a little bit bigger, but not really easily discernibly so. But the bennets you will find on the ground more likely than you'll find it in a tree, because they feed on the ground. They don't peck away at the tree bark. And of course the guarri bush that he's sitting on is a very good bush to be sitting on, because the bark is quite loose. And that means that for the probing tongue and beak of the woodpecker, he's probably likely to find himself some nice invertebrates and grubs and things for himself to eat. Now, I don't know if you happen to be around during the slightly disturbing, slightly disturbing tent section when we actually dissected a cardinal woodpecker. In fact, it was a golden-tailed woodpecker we dissected, but we removed its tongue. And it was absolutely astounding, because you read about it and you see diagrams of it, but then you actually see what happens. The tongue goes all the way around the back of the skull to the back of the eyes. So I'll try and demonstrate it for you. What happens is that, and you stick your tongue out like this, like a woodpecker does. The tongue goes back to the back of the mouth, up the back of the skull, where it splits and goes round to the back of the eyes. And it allows the woodpecker to extend it hugely far forward. And it's also like a spear on the end. It's not soft at all. It's got a really hard kind of piece of cartilage on the end with barbs on it like a spear. And it grabs, or it sort of impales the grubs that it finds inside the holes that it drills, and then eats them. It's an amazing adaptation to probing into wood. Right, that one is still there, but it's not the best picture. Let's try one more view. Mike, you're being hilarious. Well done. It was a good joke. You say, does the cardinal woodpecker have a Catholic diet? The cardinal woodpecker doesn't actually have a very Catholic diet, Mike. It's got a fairly specific diet based on whatever it can catch underneath the bark of trees, and that's normally sort of grubs and worms and caterpillars. So not as Catholic as some. For example, the red-billed hornbill has a fairly Catholic diet. For those of you wondering what Mike and I are going on about, a Catholic diet just means a very, very wide diet. So we'll just drive slowly. All right, let's head straight.
Alright, still on the move out here, seeing what wants to show themselves. I need to find another silver cluster leaf, a nice young one, to try and make tailor a bracelet like the one I have, just made out of bark of a silver cluster leaf. So let's see if we can find one. I'll try and plait it a little bit and show you what you can do with it as a rope as well. I wonder what was scratching itself here. high up. Could it be elephant? Maybe. It's just dug into the bark here. I don't think it's anything else. Couldn't see anything else getting as high as that. At first, the lower ones I thought might have been buffalo or something, but it might have been elephant. Maybe as it was feeding here, the tusk coming past and then eventually breaking the branches at the back here. So it might have stood where we are now, head through the branches, and the tusks working this. So it's quite smooth and angled, quite a flat, almost rounded feel to it as it was worked off. Quite interesting. James, you would like to know if I know which species of grass are the most nutritious. There's a couple of them around at the moment. There's one that is around termite mounds. It's called a plume chloris. Quite a pretty flower, quite a pretty grass to look at, especially if you've got the sun behind it. It's very fibrous. I'll try and find you one. And then there are a couple of others. Now I can't get to the names. I'll have to think about the names for a bit. But while I think, let's keep moving. See if we can bump into anything. Try and get these grass names back into my head. Might have to go through a couple of files. Oh, Darby, come look at this. I have never... Oh, it's gone. Never seen this bug before. It was sitting here and it's just flown off somewhere in that direction. Orange spots on it. I wonder if it's not one of the assassin bugs, maybe. That's the best guess. Hallie, you would like to know how many languages I speak. So Afrikaans is my home language, English as a second language, and then I can speak a little bit of the local tribal language, which is Shangaan. So I can help myself with it, but I can't speak it fluently, not as well as James could. Yo, these grasses don't want to come back to me now. Folks, I'm going to head over to James, and it sounds like he's got an antelope for you.
I do have an antelope. It's my favorite antelope. 3 young male kudu on the prowl, as it were. They're hoping to find themselves some ladies eventually. Sorry, Nyala. When I first saw them, I said, oh, there's a kudu, and then I corrected myself, and now I've just called them a kudu again for you. Thank you, everyone. They are Nyala. They're nothing like kudu. I do apologize profusely. Let's start again. Oh, I do. 3 young Nyala bulls on the prowl, looking hopefully for some sort of action, as 2017 makes its way onto its 3rd day. And as those Nyala disappear, we are continuing down to a pan system over here. I don't think we're going to get another of them. No, we're not. That was horrendous. There's a little pan system down here, and we'll have a look there. I'm, of course, now deeply distracted because Louise has just said, thank goodness we have intelligent people like her to correct me when I make mistakes like that. Yes, Louise, I'm grateful every day for your presence, intelligence and fortitude in the face of my imbecility. Now, I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I haven't seen an animal in one of these pans since last year. And I buffalo bulls quite like to lie in them, and I never thought I'd see the day when I said to you, I miss having all the buffalo bulls around, but that day has come. I do miss having them around. Let's just be very slow through here. We don't want to give them a spook. Are you here, buffalo bulls? No, not in that one. Not in that one either. It's these ones here. There's one more up ahead. Come on, there must be a buffalo in this one. Junebug, what a nice question from you. You've obviously been watching the TV show and you know that we've been using a drone, and not only a drone, a very sophisticated drone called, I think it's called a matrice or something like that. Well, I will talk about this now, Junebug. I'm really going to challenge you now, Rian. On a little stick directly to the right hand side of that bush, there is a dragonfly. Can you see that? Can you see the green bush that I'm pointing at? That's it. Left, there you got him. Now, Junebug, as we marvel at the beauty of that dragonfly as it sits in the sun, isn't that lovely? Gorgeous. You're worried about the effect that drone might have on animals, specifically elephants, I think. Well, the answer to that question is absolutely. If we were to sit the drone down on top of a herd of elephants without warning, they would freak out and run away. There's no doubt about that. However, we have done this one as well. I mean, even with the old drone, we viewed quite a lot of elephants with them, and we found very quickly that if you stay sort of 30 meters or 90 feet above them, they don't worry about it at all. They look up once or twice and then they carry on going about their days. If you go any lower than that, they start to get a bit antsy. And it does vary from elephant herd to elephant herd. But that was the general rule with the other drone. Now with this one, it's actually got a zooming camera, which the other one didn't have. So we can be even further away from the elephants and view them at the same resolution. So we could actually be at roughly 3 times the same height to get the same picture. So at about 90 meters, which is about 300 feet above them, and still have a pretty good view. So I don't think it will have any effect, and our intention, Junebug, is certainly to have as little effect as possible. There's no question, as we're getting used to using it, that we will make the odd mistake, and perhaps we'll take it down slightly too close to a giraffe, and the giraffe might react slightly, but we're very, very, very sensitive about it. And I mean, when we first got the first drone, which is only about that big, but sounds like a very angry herd of bees, Jean-Andre filmed this amazing sequence of giraffe for about 20 minutes, and he got slowly lower and lower. They didn't even look up at him. Eventually they just got used to it. So Junebug is very much the same situation as with vehicles. It's just that the animals have to habituate, and they do it remarkably quickly. So worry not about the drone, Junebug. Remember, everything we do, and I mean, film crews around the world have got fairly poor reputations when it comes to doing anything to get the shot. We cannot afford to be like that because we have the long term to think of. We are here all the time. We do this every day. We rely on the animals to not be afraid of us, and so we need to have them as trusting of us as possible. we rely on our viewers, our loyal viewers like Junebug, for example, to watch and enjoy the show. And obviously you won't find it vaguely entertaining if all the animals are running away and they mistrust us completely. And so, because of those reasons, it is in our very, very best interests to keep increasing the amount of trust that the animals have for us and our presence and the presence of the technology that we have here, and that is what we will do continuously. There's a track of a slithering snake going into this tree, and it looks to me like the tracks of a boom slang or a tree snake. I'm going to spend a little bit of time here seeing if I can't spot it. Now, Hodaka, that's not a name I recognize, so you say that there are far fewer snakes around than you thought there would be. Hodaka, there aren't actually. There are quite a few snakes around. In fact, there are very many of them, but they don't like us. And so when we come about, they disappear. But there are lots of them. We don't see them very often. I've seen probably 2 or 3 snakes this season only. Connor, the drone commander, we were just talking about the drone, had a rather nasty experience this morning. He nearly stood on a spitting cobra, and because he's from Durban, he doesn't own a pair of closed shoes, and well, that could have ended quite badly for him and the drone. Anyway, he was okay. Where is the drone commander? Why is the drone not up this afternoon? He's probably doing some running repairs. Right, again, I hope you're not going to lose signal through here. I'm making my way back to try and find the little leopard cub again, because everyone's left them alone. And I'm hoping Mum's going to come back, or that we will see little brother. So that's our plan right now. Especially given the lack of elephants. I quite hope to see some elephants today. The Styx Pride is on Torchwood, by the way, and the Nkuhumas seem to be in Buffelshoek. Right, in the meantime, Evia is on foot, and, well, I don't know what he's managed to find you, but he will tell you, no doubt, now.
Alright, so we've made it through the block. We didn't bump into much game. It's been quiet on the game side this afternoon, but still had some interesting things to talk about. And here it looks like, no, this one, well, we can give it a shot. Let's see if Taylor would like her bracelet. Let's see if this is going to give us enough bark to do it with. So basically you're always looking for a relatively young plant rather than an older branch. When the bark is still nice and young, it's easier to work with, and it's got a lot more moisture, so it just makes it easier to get done what you want to get done, and then as it dries out it gets stronger and stronger. So I have got 3 pieces. Headway, you'd like to know how much rain we get in this area. I think the annual rainfall for this area is about 700 millimeters per annum. It varies though, it does change up quite a bit, but 700 is a good number to work on. And another part of your question was fires, and are they a problem? Fires can be a big problem. They can devastate wilderness areas like this, but they are needed as well. So In some areas people allow these fires to burn out if it's a natural fire, and do what it needs to do, clear up a lot of the old rubbish and stuff that's lying around, old dead plant material, and also stimulate new growth. A couple of years ago I worked in an area where there was a big fire, and everyone thought, oh no, all these animals are going to go away and we're not going to see game for a long time. And within a day after the fire, zebra, blue wildebeest and a few other species just came walking in and never really left. So they ate all this ash for different minerals and stuff. So fire, although it is bad, it is good as well, and it does make a difference. Yeah. Let's see if I can plait this little guy a bit. It takes a bit of concentration, especially if you're not too used to plaiting things. Okay, here we go. So one over like this, one over like this. Denise in Kentucky would like to know if there are any animals that I'm particularly afraid of. Yes, I am not a big fan of snakes, Denise, and you're lucky that James is trying to look for the snake in the snake tracks. I wouldn't have. I am petrified of snakes, so I don't try and play with them, I don't try and touch them. It's just not my deal. From bigger things, not really much that I'm too afraid of. I've got a lot of respect for all of them, and I acknowledge what they can do and how dangerous they are, but I think it's more a way of handling your fear than showing that you're afraid. So deal with them with respect, and you should be fine. Fear can lead to making mistakes and getting yourself into trouble. So yeah, snakes is my big weakness. Let's try and see if I can. Folks, it's been a lovely afternoon with you out in the bush on foot. I'm going to carry on and try and make Taylor a bracelet, and we'll see, maybe she'll show it to you tomorrow morning on drive. Have a lovely day and enjoy. We're going to head back over to Taylor, who is on Cheetah Plains.
I'll obviously wear that bracelet every single day of my life, and we'll put it to its tests. We'll see how tough the silver cluster leaf really is, and if it can survive a day with Taylor McCurdy. My dad says I always break things and I shouldn't have nice things, so we'll see if I'm allowed to have a silver cluster leaf bracelet. But look what we found, a giraffe hiding away behind all the trees having a little munch. I'm going to go back a little bit because I suspect I don't want to move too much. Maybe I can roll back. No, not enough. Let's quickly move a little bit back so we can get a clearer view of its head. There we go. That's a little bit better. Wait. Hi, giraffe. A beautiful big male giraffe, and I haven't seen a giraffe in ages, actually. It's been quite some time, so it's nice to see them out again and seeing their heads on top of all the trees, so above all the trees is a better word, I suppose. And there's a little pan close by, and because it has been so hot, it wouldn't be a surprise to me if it did go over and have a drink. And wow, that is something to see a giraffe do the splits and take its long neck down all the way to the water. That's quite funny to watch. But we are also chasing the sunset because we are still very far away. And we had a plan, if you were watching earlier, is that we wanted to go and watch the sunset and the hippos play at the Chitwa Dam. So we won't be able to hang around here for too long. because we need to get on our way so that we can, well, do what we said we were going to do. And I haven't been to the dam yet. We just saw it from a distance. And I'm very excited to not just see the hippos, but hopefully that ginormous crocodile that James and David had spotted the other afternoon. So I think we're going to say goodbye to this giraffe and we're going to keep on moving. What do you think, Brian? Because the sun looks like it's actually going to go down quite quickly, so we really do need to get a move on, and unfortunately the sun waits for nobody. So unless you're quick, you can miss it within the blink of an eye. Over the bumps we go, and I must tell you, we were driving, and on the road at the moment there's a lot of big logs and sticks and things that the elephants have pushed into the road. Even I suppose the buffalo could have pushed them into the road. And one jumped up underneath the vehicle, and oh my goodness, it was such a large stick. I don't even know where we picked it up. Must have just caught the tire and hit the undercarriage. Anyway, it wedged itself, and I thought that we weren't going to be able to move anywhere, because when we moved forward it would lift the vehicle up. But luckily, with some maneuvering from Brian and me driving the vehicle a little bit, we managed to snap it and then get it loose. But it was really a difficult challenge. So I'm probably very dirty. I'm sure I have sand all over my face because I was laying underneath the car. And as I was wiggling the stick around, of course, all the sand fell off. And because I never stopped talking, all the sand went in my mouth and in my eyes. But I'm fine, just very dirty now. I'll have to be hosed off outside. I don't think they'll let me back in the DRC. Now here's a question I've never been asked before. Mick 1011. And this is what I love, is that you always get asked questions. It's something you maybe didn't think of. Now, you were wondering if giraffes ever damage birds' nests while feeding. I don't know if a giraffe would, because they're quite delicate feeders. I don't know if when you're watching them, they're sort of just taking a couple of leaves here and there. But you know who I think would damage a bird's nest? Are the elephants. I think that they really would maybe pull down on a branch completely unaware, not maybe doing it on purpose, that there was a bird's nest in there, and I can imagine eggs and chicks could go flying at times. But no, I don't think the giraffe do. I think they're too delicate for that. Or they feed too delicately for that. And sadly, it doesn't seem like we're really having any luck, unfortunately, with the cheetah this afternoon. I suspect that they've curled up somewhere, maybe in the middle of one of these sort of massive blocks. Remember, there aren't roads that go everywhere. We've just got certain places that we can drive on. And I'm also just checking the termite mounds, just to see if they maybe aren't sitting up on one of those, or even a leopard sitting up on one of those. Other than that, it's actually quite quiet. So very nice to very quickly see that giraffe and those elephants that we had earlier. We haven't even seen an impala. I also wouldn't mind seeing, before the sun sets this afternoon, is having a look at a big herd of impala with all the little lambs, to see how much they have grown over the last couple of days. Right, we're going to start making our way now, though. We're going to try and zip over towards Chitwa Dam as quick as possible. So let's jump back onto James's vehicle and see where he's off to next.
Well, you jumped back on board with me, and we're going to see if we can't find Shongile again. Aubrey has got some interesting lion tracks not too far from here. So he's looking there, and we were asked earlier whether there was a likelihood of the leopards coming across lions, and I said I didn't think so, because we were pretty sure the lions weren't around here. Well, anyway, some lions have crossed sometime during the middle of the day from the south. They've chased some buffalo. We've seen a split up buffalo herd, and so maybe we'll have lions as well sometime soon. But I really want a little Hosanna at this stage. I'm going to just stick the nose of the vehicle in here. This is where we found Shongile. She's still up north somewhere there. Hang on, here's Aubrey. Go ahead. He says the tracks are crossing Shibam Road, going towards the east. Right, so they're coming this way towards Treehouse Dam. Okay, we're going to put our heads in here. I'm going to put off going to Shongile because we had a wonderful view of her earlier on. Let's go and give Aubrey a hand because there are some buffalo heading towards the dam, and the lion's tracks seem to be heading in exactly the same direction. Just going to have a quick look in here for Hoshana. No, I don't see anything there. Alright, let's see. We can't give Aubrey a hand. I don't think it's a bad thing that we give Shongile a little bit of space. So let's go and see if we can't get lucky with the lion. And the buffalo, because I haven't shown you a buffalo for so long. So to give you an idea of what I was talking about, Treehouse Dam is just up ahead here. Just to the west of that is Shibam Road, and the drainage system sort of filters down into the dam wall from that road. And coming up from the south are some buffalo. And so who knows what's going on? An ambush might be on. The sun is very bright when you're driving to the west. It's very odd that we've got fresh lion tracks at this time of the day. But I trust Aubrey implicitly. Here are the buffalo. Kimmy, you were hoping we'd find the lions this afternoon. Well, you might be lucky. Orbs, there's a small herd of buffalo now at Treehouse Dam. Just going to get to a position where we can view these things without being blinded completely by the sun. Now they're coming from there. I suspect the lions are not too far in that direction there. Let's just have a quick look at those buffalo, and they've given up. They haven't come down to the main water. They're drinking out of the spring that feeds. Oh, he's got them. Weaver's Nest Road to the north. Hang on, he's talking to someone else now. He's got the lions. I think they're just up here. We probably drove past them. Wouldn't be the first time in my career. Orbs, just go with that location for the of the Pride. Oh, the radio is going crazy. Sorry, everyone. We'll figure this out eventually. Aubrey, come in. Here, I've got squirrel's alarm calling. Let's just be quiet for a second. This is deeply frustrating. You hear the squirrels going. Tick, 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 tick. We're just listening. Buffalo still coming down. I don't know. Orbs, please can you go with your location? Sorry, confirm south of the dam. We'll get there eventually. Okay. They're in the block just to the south here. That's wonderful news. I don't even know which lions they are. We'll find them shortly. There are buffalo everywhere. Could be in for some action. I suspect those lions are probably fast asleep right now. All the buffalo coming down to drink now. Here, we'll just give you a very slow look. There we go. Beautiful. It'll run past there. Beefy is all over the place now. It's so nice to have them back again. Now they should be right about here. There are buffalo everywhere, left and right. Quite a big herd coming down to drink. Hello. Sorry, beefies. Just go give us a pan over the beefies there, Rian. Rian, if we can have a look at the buff. Tanis, you're in Canada and you're wondering about the danger posed by the buffalo to us in the event of them stampeding because of the lions. No, there wouldn't really be any danger. Normally they'd run around us. It has happened, especially in the dark, and especially if you've got bright sort of spotlights on and that sort of thing, that you will have a situation where a buffalo could run into a car. And sometimes I've been around a buffalo bull that has been set upon by lions, and what happens is that he will get irritated and kind of attack the first thing he sees, and that can sometimes be the vehicle. This is a big herd of buffalo. I'm so sorry to disturb you. Would you mind stepping aside? Thank you so much. Yes. I must say, you're a very confiding fellow. What is your name? Johnny. Hello, Johnny. It's a strange name for a buffalo cow. I don't think a buffalo's ever been that close to us here before. That's very cool. You carry on like that, see? Don't get eaten. When you see the lions, get as far away from them as possible. Ooh, quickly, yellow-billed oxpecker there on the top of that buffalo. That's very cool. The unusual oxpecker species. And they've caught smell of us and have decided we don't smell very good, and so they're going to leave. That's really cool. Yellow-billed oxpecker. Now this is apparently the Tsalala lions. I'm just listening on the radio. That's very cool to get a yellow-billed oxpecker. Well done, Rian. Nice work. Now, being lions, I don't think they're going anywhere, so we're just going to ease our way along the road here. It's a very cool herd. And the lions are right here. Right there. You see in front there? La. That's why I'm so good at this job. Okay, just sit still. I'm going to go backwards. Sorry everybody. I'm going to claim the sun was in my eyes there. There's sometimes nothing you can say when you've been a complete and utter idiot. Here you are. Isn't that wonderful? She's so close. Now, what's interesting here, Jamie said the other day, I don't know if it was in our one of the rehearsals or if it was in an actual show, but do you remember she was talking about amber eyes, and she said, you know, the thing about amber eyes is that it's not that unusual for a lion to have amber eyes. And here, she is borne out completely. You can see there that her eyes are indeed amber. Now she's very excited. She's obviously thinking about stalking these buffalo. This is very special. I don't know if the buffalo have seen them. I'm going to say no. There's one male behind here and another 2 females in here somewhere. They are, of course, the Tsalala Pride. So we might have a bit of action on here, everybody. Oof, that's beautiful. Isn't that lovely? What a shot. Now, just looking behind me, the buffalo are about 30 meters? No, 50 meters. So 150 feet or so. Just keep an eye on her. The male has not moved. He's still lying. He's the young male of the Tsalala Pride. Here she goes. Oh, this is incredible. Alright, everyone, we can't move right now. So if she goes for it, you're going to lose sight. This is unbelievable. She's hiding in the cover of a fallen knobthorn tree. There's a buffalo on the road. You can't see her, probably 60 meters behind us, 180 feet or so. The male can see her moving. Now she's using us as well. She's seen the buffalo turn around, so what she's doing is making a little bit of a move here. This is a live buffalo hunt. I'm going to move slightly forward and around. Rian, sit down. Sorry everyone, you're going to lose sight of her quickly. I just want to get out of her way. Right, now there she is. She's right there. And now we wait and see what the buffalo do. Now, Lindsay, you say that you say, Lindsay, that we know that lions use the wind in their favor. Do we think that they use the sun as well? Now, I'm going to address the second part of that question first. Do I think that they're using the sun, in other words, coming in with the sun into the buffalo's eyes? I don't. And you know, I was doing some research on that wind and lion using the wind direction thing. It seems to be largely a fallacy. And you will read about it in popular textbooks, but you will find very little actual documented scientific evidence that lions pay a concerted effort to hunt downwind. So that doesn't seem to be the case. And I don't think that this hunt, although it's perfectly poised for them because of the sun, I don't think they're using the sun on purpose. I'm afraid I just don't think that they have the cognitive nous to do that, especially if they don't seem to use the wind. So you'll read in kind of popular field guides and things that lions will hunt downwind of their prey and sort of turn their noses into the wind when they start to hunt at night. I always thought that that was a little suspicious, and then I did quite a lot of research on it, and it would seem that it's by chance that they end up moving with the wind quite often. So there are the buffalo. And what she's waiting for now is for them to turn around again. So they turned towards us when we moved out of her way, And then we've stopped, and they've now turned back towards the water, and she's now starting to look a little more interested in moving. So what they absolutely do is pick up on whether the animals are facing them or not. So as soon as that little one, in fact the same one, Johnny, she was a cow, but we'll call her Jane, the same Janie that we saw on the road there, walked onto the road, and then as she turned her back, that's when the lioness moved and got into cover behind the bush. And you can see she's perfectly hidden. Let's go back to her. But none of the rest of the pride are moving now. Now that's not unusual. What they will do is use the night to hunt. And so that's, I suspect, what they're going to wait for. They're infinitely patient. They will wait for darkness to fall before they make a proper move, unless an opportunity presents itself. Also, there are only 3 lionesses here and 1 young male. Well, it's enough for them to kill a buffalo, especially a young one. Oh, and some of these buffalo are lying down. They have no idea about the lions. And going to sleep, it would seem. Really slightly embarrassing the way I didn't spot that animal. I'm going to call the sun on that. I was, of course, also looking at you. So it's probably all your fault. You see how amber her eyes are? Hello, Andy in Kentucky. You're wondering about the male hunting and whether he will help her. The male will help her. He's young. He's not yet a dominant male, which means that he's part of the pride still. And so absolutely he'll help. He's just at the right age. He's probably about 3 now, I think. And so he will be a huge asset in a hunt like this. And as I said, there are another 2 lionesses around here. We just haven't seen them yet. But there are 2 other lionesses here. There's a buffalo looking directly towards us, into the sun, and I'm sure she can barely make us out. She definitely can't see the lion behind the cover there. And 2 or 3 of them have lain down, chewing the cud now. And now we play the game that is the waiting game out here. Is a huge amount of that if you want to get action, as many of you know. But I think they're going to wait for dark. Ooh, couple heading this way. Marisha, you're wondering if the Tsalala Pride is the pride of lions that took their young sub-adults away when the marauding Birmingham boys came onto the reserve all that time ago. Yes, she did do that. That absolutely. Absolutely. I think it was them. They seemed to move those young males away. Right there. Hi, no problem. It's cool. And at the moment, I think we've got only 1 male and 3 females. And remember, the other notable thing about the Tsalala Pride is that one of the females has got no tail. And when I worked at Londolozi, of course, we knew her mother also had no tail. It wasn't genetic. They both just got unlucky, really. And this is ideal. And this is where a lion's patience will pay off. I think you just keep the area. I'm just going to scan the bush because I think there's another one lion not too far from us. Ah, yes. It's another male. Now, Ariana, apparently there's an injured buffalo on the right-hand side. Let's just have a look there. Ah, yes. That's not so much an injury as it is a very nasty tick infestation. And I suspect what you'll find is that that buffalo is still suffering the sort of adverse effects of the drought. She's very old, and that means that that cut is struggling to heal. And Rian, if you pan to the right, you'll be able to see that her horn is broken off, and it's just indicative that she's a very old cow. And this might be her last night on planet Earth. Now, Rian, I'm going to test you again. If you go all the way to the left, back to the lion, just over the top of her head and to the right, you'll see another one. Just go straight over the top of her head. There he is. You see him there? There we go. Perfectly hidden young male lion. I'm not sure if he's the same one we saw earlier, but he's waiting very patiently as the sun starts to set, and she's now starting to fall asleep. Alrighty, we're going to wait and see what happens here. We're not going anywhere. Taylor is on Chitwa finally, and hopefully having a sundowner at the dam. There's another.
We are just about to approach the big Chitwa Dam, and I'm hoping I'm on the right road. We're going to get a good view. We're just going to go down and have a look, and I don't think we're going to be able to get too close today, because one of the Chitwa guides did say that there are some guests in camp, but he said it shouldn't be a problem. We should be able to just come and have a look if we're quite sneaky. So we're going to be as sneaky as we can be. My goodness, it's a big watering hole. Hey? Wow! I haven't seen a big dam like this in a very long time, and already I can see some hippopotamus heads poking out. But we're just going to take it easy. And guess what? The baby Impala are here too. I've checked everything off my list this afternoon. That's fantastic. What a wonderful day. There they go. Leaping across the road. There's one more coming. Off they go. Bye. Here come the next set. Oh my goodness, there's actually a whole lot of them. All bounding. Run, run, run as fast as you can. Look how cool this is. Doing big leaps. All came down for a quick drink, and well, now they're racing off somewhere else. Bye guys, thank you for completing my list. Well, almost, because I still need to show you the hippopotamus. And we're allowed to, I think we're allowed to go here. I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going to go too far because there are guests in, I don't know which rooms. So we're not going to bother them too much by going onto the dam wall. We're just going to sit here, but there's lots of hippopotamus just over there. Hi guys. They're everywhere. There's little heads popping out all over the place. Now what I was hoping that we're going to see, Brian, can you see that hippo on that side just because its body is sticking out? What I'm hoping, because it's cooled down quite a bit, and you can see that this hippo is now moving closer and closer to the banks, the sandy banks, and I wonder if it's not going to come out of the water, because that's what the hippopotamus do at this time of the day. There's a sound we don't hear too often, and if they do... Isn't that cool? That's what I was going to say. And if I hear them calling, I'm going to keep very, very quiet. Now, normally when hippos make a noise like that, it's a way of intimidating or a territorial call. They use it for communication every now and then. But when I was in Zambia, we used to hear it all the time just before the sun would rise in the morning and just before the sun would set in the afternoon. And something else is that hopefully there's a couple of bulls in this giant dam. We might even see them thrashing their heads around and opening their mouths. Actually sounds like there's a bit of commotion going on the other side of the island. You can see there's some hippos just to the left racing over to see what's going on. But like I said, I did actually see a guest, so I don't want to move around too much and disturb them. Now, Raisa, you're saying that all this water in this dam can't just be because of the rain. That's actually a good question. I'm not sure if this dam is pumped or not, but it'd be something to find out. It is massive, but I think a lot of it has got to do with the rain. I mean, you've seen what Twin Dams, Treehouse Dam, even Buffelshoek Dam looks like now. Look at all those Egyptian geese. It looks like a golf course. That's my favorite thing, because this is what you literally see on a golf course, but about 10 times this amount of Egyptian geese. And there's actually, can you see the little goslings? Well, they're not little, the ones on the left. They're not quite little. Oh, these ones on the complete other side of the bank. Can you see those ones there? No? Okay. Well, there's some goslings.
There's some right there.
Okay, where?
In the middle of the frame.
In the middle?
Yeah, look at the bottom there.
Are those goslings? Are those not water thicknees?
I don't know.
Those look like water thicknees to me. Where are the goslings? I'm confused because I can see lots of Egyptian geese, and then it looks like there's a couple of smaller ones, but to me they look like water thicknees or something else. But there's lots of Egyptian geese. They're everywhere. Sort of they're in like little flocks together all over the banks. There's some water thicknees. Hello. Just saying hello to the hippopotamus. Now come on, hippos, come out of the water. I'm also scanning, looking for this Brian, I've seen the crocodile. You see this first, the middle island? You see just to the right before that thin sandbank goes around the corner. I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, when? There we go. Can you see it just to the right of your screen? Go a little bit further right. No, down. There. Crocodile! Woohoo! That is not a log sitting very still in the water. That is a crocodile being exceptionally patient and sitting very, very still amongst all that scum on the water. And I think what it's hoping is that something is going to come and feast, or not feast, something is going to come down and have a drink. And it's just going to be sitting. Oh, look at the hippos now. Here we go. This is what I said to you. They always get quite rowdy at this time of night. I'm so sorry. There's so much to look at here. Crocodile, the hippos jumping, and well, not jumping, but porpoising. And I reckon that they're probably going to do it again. So we'll try and keep an eye on them. But don't worry, that crocodile's not doing anything too interesting. Like I said, it's just pretending to be a log at the moment. And especially now that it has cooled down a bit, it probably won't be as active as what it was perhaps during the day. Come on, hippos. You can't just tempt us once with a big porpoise like that. And most of them seem to have moved right off on the other side where we can't see anymore. And I wonder if there's just not a big game path that they use to come in and out of the water. Hippos like to use particular game paths that will lead them to their favorite route that will take them to a nice open area to graze. And even though they've got this big sort of pan off to the left of us, this open area, sorry. But unfortunately there is not a lot of grass actually growing around here. It's all these little shrubs that are popping out, and the hippopotamus really only eat grass. And the pods from the sausage tree, I've seen them feeding on those too, and their flowers. Now Dan, you were wondering if the deepness of a hippopotamus's call could identify how big the hippo is. I suppose, because a little hippopotamus wouldn't have a very deep voice. It's pretty much exactly like a lion. As they get older and older, their voices start to develop. But most of the time, it's the males that are actually making and doing most of the vocalizing. You hear the females, of course, but not as frequent as... they're so quick. Every time we take our eyes off of them, it's like they're camera shy. But I think we'll see, because there's a few hippo that have now come together, So maybe we'll get to see a little bit more action. But they're very playful. They're quite social as well. Well, the females are quite social. They live in big pods. And in areas like this, oh, there's one opening its mouth to the left. Keep it open. Stop just teasing us. This dam is literally so big that it is so difficult to pan from one side to the other. Come on, let's see another one. Now you can just see a hippo's back. Now, Debbie, you were wondering if hippos give birth on land or in the water. So, Debbie, they mate in the water. You every now and then, it's actually really interesting when you see hippos mating and as they're porpoising around on top of each other. It's actually quite hilarious. And then they normally come out and give birth on land. However, you can have the females giving birth in very, very shallow water, so just at the water's edge. But it's exceptionally dangerous when a hippo does give birth because they are vulnerable when they come out around. And if a lion or even a hyena stumbles across a young hippo that's just been born, they're definitely going to try and take an opportunity and snatch it up. So it's essential that that little hippo gets onto its feet and go off and do a bit of grazing and then back to the water they will go. Come on, hippos, just once more. And isn't it exciting now that we know that we've got lots and lots of hippos here. We've got a crocodile. We've got 2 crocodiles. And then hopefully we're going to see them out on the sandbanks sunbathing. Even the hippos. That's something to look forward to in the winter months. Is that sometimes the water gets a bit chilly and you'll see all these hippopotamus laying out on the sandbanks. And that's also quite a sight to see. Come on. Please open your mouth. It looks like it wants to. Yes, yes, yes. Isn't that cool? Finally. You always know that they're going to start to do that. They sort of put their heads under the water, shake them a bit. Look how much fun they're having. They blow the biggest bubbles. They'd be best for a jacuzzi. Let's see, maybe we get one more. Are you going to give us one more? Rightio, we're going to leave the dam now, but let's go back across to James and the lions.
Right, we haven't moved. That lion hasn't moved. The lion behind her hasn't moved. But there is another male just to the other side of where the male that we can see is. And things have turned, as I said, just into a waiting game. And that is the way of things out here with the lion hunt. Like I say, I'm 99% sure they're simply waiting for the darkness to come. She's alert. She's not she keeps nodding off, but then she lifts her head when she hears the click of an ankle joint or the slightly louder knocking of 2 males' bosses together. But slowly the herd is coming towards us. And it was not be too unusual to see them use the vehicles as cover, especially as they seem to be settling down. You can see her now. It's all too much, you see, to be a cat. Now, unfortunately, we've only got about 20 minutes left, I think, but we'll sit here for as long as we can. But this hunt could only take place, I don't know, it might be about 12 o'clock tonight. But we'll sit here for as long as we dare. And if things are about to happen, we'll extend the drive. But if that lioness is looking as, sleepy as she is, we'll probably pack it in. It always, you know how often it looks like they cannot possibly fail. They're close. The buffalo have no idea that they're there, and somehow they manage to make a mess of it. Probably only 2 in 10 or so are successful chasers. But they certainly look like they've got a good opportunity here. I don't know. There's a little bit of moon, a very thin sliver just up there. We'll have a quick look. And so there's not going to be much in the way of light this evening. You're on it there. That's it, top left-hand corner. And then let's just have a look at the herd. You can see where they are. Watching us slightly. We haven't started our engines at all, nor's Aubrey. Now just remember, if you are a new viewer, perhaps you were watching this morning for our TV show and you've just kind of cottoned on to what it is that we're doing here. Well, what we're looking at here is the quintessential battle of Africa, lions versus buffalo. At the moment, it's a bit of a standoff, but the buffalo have got no idea that the lions are around. And this pride we don't see often. It's very seldom seen. It's called the Tsalala Pride. They almost don't have a territory, you know. And I'm surprised they're this far north. They normally live at Londolozi, but there is upheaval there quite a lot, simply because the Matimbas are there and they've sandwiched themselves. Those are the old males that used to live here. They've sandwiched themselves between 3 other coalitions of males, and there's just, you know, nothing's very settled down there. And while we sit here, you won't believe it, but I'm getting reports from the Far East, not quite as far east as Thailand, but Cheetah Plains, that quarantine, now the source is not the most reliable, but it sounds like quarantine is mating with Nkanyeni. Can you believe that? He's just had his 4th birthday, and he seems to already be in the process of furthering his line. Now, that's a very interesting discussion, because we know that Quarantine and Nkanyeni have had quite a lot of conflict of late, and it is quite possible that she's just trying to placate him. But he's very young to be mating at 4 years old, but he is very big for a 4-year-old. So that's quite interesting stuff. In the meantime, we wait and we watch. Hello Meg, very good question from you. While we wait for things to unfold here, you say you enjoyed the show on TV this morning. Thank you very much for that. And you say, why have we changed the time for next week? The answer, Meg, is that we were worried that we didn't have sufficient time to be tracking in the mornings. So although we will no doubt sacrifice a few viewers because some will just go to bed, the thing is, at 10 o'clock at Eastern Standard Time, especially when we come to the end of the series, you know, when we start at 5, it'll be pitch black, and we can't have a situation where we go out and not know what's going on out in the bush. We have to kind of go out an hour to an hour and a half early to track and spot and have a look. And so it's because of the light mainly that we're going out slightly later. Meg, I hope that answers your question. So from next week it'll be 11 o'clock to Eastern Standard Time. It just gives us a bit more time to do some of the tracking that we needed to. For example, if we'd done that this morning, we would have had those leopards from the very beginning of the show as opposed to sort of half an hour into it. Not that made a difference, of course, to the show, and it's not all about the cats, but it is nice, especially when we have a short period with people to show them all of our major characters. You can see that lioness is fast asleep now. Oh, she's woken up slightly. Hi.
We are indeed with a guest from the sky. Now, we are going to play a little game. And this should be an easy one for you who watch on a regular basis. But which raptor do we have sitting upon this dead knobthorn tree? You can send your answers through to #SafariLive on Twitter or questions@WildEarthTV. But it's a beautiful bird, don't you think? You can see it's got a tiny little crest on its head, which is a giveaway. Very square tail, of course, a very pale body with dark wings. It could be a tricky one, I don't know. But send them through and we shall, well, hopefully we'll find out who it is, and then I will let you know a little bit more about this beautiful raptor that we've got sitting up here. Now, we have obviously left Chitwa and that beautiful dam, but I'm so excited as to what's to come with some incredible sightings, I think, of crocodiles and hippos as well, the weather cools down eventually. Like I said, I can't wait to see the hippo out of the water and sunbathing on the banks. That's always really nice. David, you were wondering if it was a hawk eagle. Good guess, but no, unfortunately it's not a hawk eagle. We'll let some more come through. You should be very familiar with this bird. We see them quite often. Now, my map is blowing away. Right, what are we going to do? We're going to go this way. Let's go around over here. Oh, Roger, your guess was a martial eagle. No, unfortunately, not a martial eagle. I don't want to take my bird book out because I think I'll ruin it. But a martial eagle is much larger than that, almost probably 3 times that size. And I think some of you might be getting a bit sort of confused about the size. It wasn't a particularly big bird. It did look very big in that shot because it was sitting on a smallish branch, but it isn't a massive eagle. The martial eagles have got sort of very white chest with brown sort of stripes on it, and they're really big. They're very, very difficult to sort of to not be able to identify. Actually, you know what I can do is I can show you on my phone, because that way it won't be on the same page. Let me get to the eagles. I just don't want to show you in case I accidentally open the wrong one. Where are you here, martial eagle? Okay, there we go. That's better. So there we've got the martial eagle. This is the sketch that they've given you, so you can see the brown head, and then of course the very, very white body with the little speckles on it. I'm going to slide now. Let's get you some real photos. There we go. Look at that. So you can see really, really, really big, massive bird. Look at the size of its feet and its talons. Like I said, that bird was probably about the third of the size of this massive eagle. So keep on guessing. Like I said, don't overthink this. It's actually a really easy one, and I know that you will all get it. I think I'll give you one more clue. I think James may have even seen them earlier today already. That should help you out a little bit. And like I said, that little crest on the head is a giveaway. Yay! Well done, Chris Rogue and Liz, who have said it is a pale morph Wahlberg's eagle. You are indeed correct. Like I said, I think that angle that we were looking at was slightly deceiving. It made the bird look a lot bigger than what it actually was. So well done to all of you. So it's a very easy one. Once you get to know the Wahlberg's eagles, just purely by its size. It's one of the smaller eagles that we see here. And then of course we're actually on Twin Dams Road at the moment, and we know that the Wahlberg's nest is not too far away from here, where we often see that pale morph Wahlberg's eagle. So that sometimes helps as well. If you know particular nesting sites of these bigger eagles, they will go back almost every single year. Ha! We got a new steering wheel cover, so I'm just putting it on. It's so nice, and it's lovely and soft, and it's beautiful. My hands don't go black though. My hands are brown now though, because I was digging under the vehicle, and I'm actually covered in mud and sand. I look like I've got a great tan though, but it'll wash away in the shower, unfortunately. Right, what are we going to see? We're coming up to Chele Pan now. I can see the leg of an impala. Let's have a look at the rest of the body of the impala. Here he is. hello Miguel, who is watching us for the first time. Welcome Miguel, and I hope that you continue to watch us, and please send on your questions. Remember, you can ask any question that you like. It doesn't matter if somebody has asked it before. We are quite happy to keep repeating, and I promise you, the more you keep watching, well, the more you learn out here. Now, Miguel, I don't know if you've been watching while we've seen this beautiful antelope, but this is called an Impala, and these are the beautiful big males. So this is just a bachelor herd at the moment. They're not quite too interested in the females just yet, as they've all just had little lambs. So in the next few months, about March, they're all going to get very frisky and start fighting over the breeding herds for mating rights. And sometimes it's quite nice when you sit and you watch these bachelor herds, because you can see them have a tussle. And we've actually seen that over the last few weeks now. Them sort of locking horns and practicing, well, for March, of course, when it's going to get a little bit more serious than just a little bit of fun. And if you notice, just as we were approaching the dam to get to the hippos, you would have seen that they are exceptionally good at running and also jumping and apparently scratching behind their ears too. Very flexible antelope. Hello, boys. Oh, they're looking so good, so fat. Big necks, big rumps. They're definitely well on their way to breeding season again. Hey, boys. And don't you think that white underneath their stomach just stands out so nicely now? Even that little white patch underneath their throat, which is something that you don't always get to see. Of course, now he's turned away, so we can't see it at all. Isn't it just lovely listening to the birds? It's one of my favorite things, and you'll notice that I always stop a couple of times during drive to just listen to everything that's going on around us. Now, Totes Tab, you're wondering how long does it take for an Impala ram to develop the horns? So normally after a couple of months, you'll start to see the little horns, if it is a boy, protruding through their skull. And then normally at about a year or so, they're just starting to curve around, and the tips are pointing back towards each other. And then by about 2 years, they're starting to sort of curve back outwards again. And it's normally about when they get to about 3 or 4 years old or so, like this one. This Impala is not particularly massive that we're looking at. It's definitely smaller than the others that are around here. So I think he's probably around 3 or 4 years old, somewhere around there. And there's a couple of older boys that have got like really, really nice display of horns. And I think when they get to about 5 or so, I would say, I think they're really in the prime of their life. They probably had an opportunity already to mate with some females. Like, look at him, he's beautiful. Thank you, Impala. Like I said, we were so lucky this afternoon. We've ticked a variety of different animals off the list. We didn't find the cheetah though, but that's all right. James had the beautiful leopard, and now he's got those lions. We saw the elephants. We asked them if they'd splash around in the mud for us. They did that, and we ended the afternoon off with Impala dashing across the road and leaping around, and of course, not to mention the hippos splashing about, and a crocodile pretending to be a log. But that's all the time that Brian and I have for you this evening, so we're going to say goodbye to you. And we'll see you hopefully tomorrow for the sunrise safari. But let's go back across to James and see what those lions are up to.
Well, from that rather exciting kind of high action thing that we thought was going to happen, I nearly ran this poor lioness over with my blindness, where she hasn't moved an inch. So I don't know. I think they're going to wait until it is very dark indeed, possibly even until the moon has set. So we've just got a few minutes left. I don't think they're going to do anything in the interim, but we might be very lucky. It's been such a wonderful drive. We've been so lucky. I say that because I've had many drives of late where I really haven't had much luck at all. Today, buffalo, lions, and of course a wonderful, wonderful time with Shongile. Now there's a chap sitting with Shongile now, and apparently there is a leopard calling somewhere nearby. So maybe that's Karula coming back to fetch young shongis and Hosana. Let's have another look at the buffalo, if you don't mind, Rion. They are massing into their kind of defensive evening lying down position, and they'll chew the cud like that probably for a couple of hours. There they are. And they're being chased. They're being chased. The lioness is up. Get on the lioness quickly. I'm sure that they've been spooked by one of the males going round the other side. I can't see one chasing. She's up. She's not vaguely interested. The buffalo stampeding. There's your answer about the stampeding buffalo. I'm pretty sure they caught whiff of the male that came round the other side. The lioness looks as utterly bemused as I do. She's completely surprised. We'll just quickly do a little turnaround here. It's almost like the buffalo realized that we were coming to the end of the show and they didn't want to be killed while we weren't live. So there's the lioness. Have a look there, Rion. I'm pretty sure one of the young males got around the other side, and obviously they either caught a sniff of him suddenly or he gave chase, but he's nowhere around here. Oh, there he is, look, straight ahead of us. Look at that, he snuck all the way around. And you can see he's panting, he's very tired, he's the one who's given them a fright. But they still haven't seen the lioness. Alright, chaps, I think we're going to just extend this drive a few minutes, because if we go over there, Rion, they've now formed a defensive phalanx heading towards the male. They've seen the male, he's the one that chased him. I don't think they've seen the female. And she's now waiting to see if she doesn't attack from the other side. They're all facing the male, who's now sitting very obviously on that termite mound. Yeah, there's a bull going towards him. This is classic behavior, and it's classic when the lioness and the rest of the pride waits behind while this distraction takes place. She hasn't moved. And all I can hear right now is the odd cracking of branches and flies. There have obviously millions of flies that have been all over this herd of buffalo, and they're now taken to the air. Now let's try and stick on this young bull here, at least old bull. He's watching the lion. The lion just sneezed. I'm watching carefully. Lioness hasn't moved. She's watching the lion. Go back to the male there, Rion, if we can. And he's looking towards her. He can see her, I think. But she looked completely confused by that activity. So he obviously chased from behind. They got up and shot off really quickly. And now they've stopped. Now what they don't want to do, you see, this is quite clever. They don't want to be stampeding blind through the bush. They want to know where the threat is. That's why they stop. They get away, they stop, the bulls form on the outside, and they start to see if they can find the threat. And they found that one, and that's why he will walk very obviously now. There, look, they're following, they're coming after him. They're straight in front of us. The lion's now running to the left. Well done. They have not seen the lioness. She still hasn't moved. The bull right in front of us here now. Now this is a prime bull. He's in beautiful condition. The rest of them moving slightly towards us now. The whole herd coming towards us. We're not going to move. Lioness hasn't moved. I don't know where the rest of them are. The male has gone back from the direction that he came. And now they're sniffing. Their noses up, trying to smell the air. Now he's heading straight towards the lioness. I think he's picked up her scent. She's just over there. just in front of where the bull's looking, to the right-hand side. We'll just give you a quick view of her. There, she's just behind the termite mound there. Well done, Rian. Now they're heading straight towards her. I think let's get on to the buffalo. There we go. You can see how close they are. They're going to spot her shortly. How cool is this? This is just fantastic stuff. She hasn't moved. She's not convinced they know she's there. And she's right. Another lion coming up behind her. There, she's running now. Or she's moving. And just listen to the sound of the buffalo sniffing the air. They want to know where the pride is. They want to know where each and every lion is so that they can plan their retreat, which will be a very slow retreat if they know where the lions are. Well, now they're stampeding again. And the lions have given up. Well, they'll fight again tonight. I promise you that. They will now wait for dark. And then probably they'll have another go. Alright everyone, that's going to be it from us tonight. We'll probably sit here for a few more minutes, but I think we'll probably only find them again tonight. Yeah, they're now running to the south. Thank you for watching, everybody. Thank you, Rian, for your efforts. And a big thank you, of course, to Taylor and FW, and mostly to all of you, and especially to all of you for putting up with our rehearsals during our TV shows. Thank you very much for that. We will see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, hopefully at 0500. Until then, stay safe and happy. Bye-bye.